Well, let's kind of go back to something. You remember Joe Girard, right?
Oh my God. I talk to every car salesman. Every time I go out and do a training at a car lot, I talk about Joe Girard. And
Mm-hmm.
oh my God, how much time we got left? Don't get me started about Joe. Do you know what book Joe is in? And so
Yes,
what
I know
Joe
that.
did, Joe started selling cars, and he went to a Chevy dealer back in, I don't know, BFI somewhere, Ohio or whatever, like
Mm-hmm.
45, 50 years ago. He says, I want to sell cars, but I don't want any floor time. Just let me sell your cars. And what Joe would do is he would go to the white pages and he would call up Mrs. Walker and say, Mrs. Walker, this is Joe Girard down at XYZ Chevy. I've got your Chevy wagon all set for you to pick up. Oh, we didn't order a car. Oh, I'm sorry. What's in the driveway? And that's how you create rapport and start talking to her. And then what Joe would do, which is what you were getting to, is he would send out cards to everybody he talked to. And typically in the calendar, there's like 8 months that have something you can send a card out for. And so he would create 4 more things to send out a card for. And so husband would come home and email the day, honey, no mail, but we got another card from Joe Girard, and so they would have a drawer full of Joe's greeting cards. And he would send these out to people. And eventually what happened, he was so busy, he would have a guy and his son-in-law at the dealership. People would come in and ask for Joe. It was like going to see the Messiah. They would walk in to see Joe and had to go through these two people that would, clear the meeting with Joe. That's how busy he was, because he would send out birthday cards, anniversary cards. He didn't do half birthday cards like you do, but that's what Joe was doing. And he was just a monster at it. He was in the Guinness, like I said, he was in the Book of World Records for selling
Yes, I
cars,
remember
but
that.
not fleets, onesie twosie, Cindy, not fleet cars. Yeah.
Yeah, he is the best car salesman ever. Yeah, by far.
He's the
There's no
man.
one that even
He's the
comes
guru.
close. Yeah, and he would send cards to his clients, the wife, the kids. No, I mean, not just the client, also their family members. I mean,
Right. But
that's
look at how he was
powerful.
selling. But
Yeah.
he met all those people from picking up the phone and dropping dimes, making phone calls.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't doing that because he was on the floor 12 hours a day. So he could work 6 hours a day, 4 days a week, because he didn't have any uptime. He didn't have any floor time. So, and this is way before networking groups. He wasn't doing that. And when I was selling insurance back in 77 in Chicago, I didn't know anything about chambers or networking groups. All I was doing was sending out replyo cards. I would go and get names off of apartment buildings and send them out.
Wow.
And so I've got this gold clock that I have in storage that I won in 1978 from selling more insurance than anybody else out of like 3 guys in an agency for New England Life of 54 agents. And I was a brand new white belt. I knew nothing about asking for referrals or anything, but it was just from making the cold calls. And the fortune, so what I wanted to talk about was the fortune is in the FU, it's in the follow-up. And I sold $113,000 of on-hold messaging in 1999 for making phone calls and using a contact manager and getting a sale and beating out the sales manager that was doing a training of that's why I was in Phoenix that day, was to get some training. And this guy had this guy as a customer, but only had one location. So you got to make sure that you follow up and you just do anything you can in sales and marketing. And then the other story I wanted to share was the $1,000 shoe. I was prospecting this guy that was the GM of a Honda dealership in San Leandro, California. Could never get through. So one day I decided to go to Ross and get those little toddler shoes for $1. I put one in a manila envelope with my business card and a piece of stationery, and I said, just trying to get my foot in the door. I sent 3 of those out on a Tuesday. Wednesday, this guy calls me up and he's laughing. GMs of car dealerships never laugh. So this guy's laughing. And I said, what's so funny? He says, I got your thing in the mail. When can you come in? I said, I'll be there tomorrow at 2:30. So I went in, we had an appointment, and I sold him. And so that's why I call it the $1,000 shoe, because I made $1,000 on that deal from one call. And he called me because I sent out a $1 toddler shoe in an envelope. So the reason I bring up that story, Cindy, is that's lumpy mail. And I'm not talking about lumpy on Leave It to Beaver and 2 people out there will get that. Everybody else won't be old enough to understand that. But lumpy mail is the first thing you dig at when you open up your mailbox, whether it's at the post office or a P.O. box or at home. You dive into that lumpy mail because you want to see what the toy is or the gift is in there. And that's what he did. Was he opened up my lumpy mail, and I got the call, and I got the appointment, and I got the deal. So lumpy mail works.